All right. If you are not an uber nerd like me, someone who loves to play around with Venn diagrams, if instead you're the kind of person that thinks Venn diagrams never met one I didn't hate, then this might be your week because this week we're going to learn a new strategy for evaluating categorical syllogisms. We're going to learn how to apply the 5 rules for standard form categorical syllogisms. If a categorical syllogism doesn't violate any of the 5 rules, it's valid. But if it violates even one of the rules, it's invalid. And the good news for us is that these 5 rules are pretty simple. They're pretty easy to understand. All right, couple things I want to call your attention to. In thought primer number 12, all the way at the bottom, there's a short video in which I present to you an argument. I present it to you as a standard form categorical syllogism. It relates to an incident that took place at the University of Southern California a few years ago. And what I'm asking you in part 4 to do is to explain to me why you think this argument is either sound or unsound. Okay, it's a valid argument. Okay, the argument I give you is a valid one. The question is it sound? In other words, are both of the premise statements true statements? Okay, and so what you'll do in your thought primer is you'll explain, here's why I think premise number 1 and premise number 2 are both true statements, or you'll explain why you think one or both of those premise statements is likely false. Okay, so in part 4, you're going to be explaining, you're going to be providing an evaluation of this argument's soundness by focusing in on just the premise statements. Are they both true statements? If they are, we've got a sound argument. But if even one of the premise statements is suspect in your judgment, then we might have an unsound, a valid but unsound argument. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is this is, you'll remember a few weeks back there was this deadline for thought primer revisions. And I told you that, hey, any of those thought primers 1 through 8, any of those thought primers dealing with immediate inferences, the deadline for revising those and getting full credit on them was on a particular Sunday. Well, we're going to be coming up on a similar kind of deadline with thought primers that are related to categorical syllogisms. Okay, so you want to have this in mind that in a couple of weeks, I'm going to send out the signal that if you have less than full credit on any thought primer related to categorical syllogisms, there is a deadline for submitting revisions to those. So when you get your returned work, when you get your work returned to you, and it's not full credit, you want to go in and look at my comments on your work so that you can see how to resubmit that thought primer to get full credit. And I prioritize getting on those sooner rather than later so that you're not having to do a big crunch of work here as multiple deadlines start to approach. All right, have a fantabulous week. And as always, let me know if anything comes up that I can help with.